This is a patient who has had multiple issues with esophagus, multiple stricture issues, and in who we are considering a stent today. Further information will follow, and we see this. So actually, not clear what's going on with this patient. Can be a couple of things. Could be the pyloric, could be some sort of anastomotic stricture, could be just the fact that he's had a gastric pull-up and the functional impairment associated with that. So let's have a look and see what we find. So a little bit my question is, so when you've heard this history, what do you think this is responsible, or is this not responsible for the patient's symptoms?
I always imagine these cases that it could act like a bit of a Zenker's diverticulum. Food gets into the diverticulum and pushes actually the esophagus closed. Because actually you do need to maneuver a bit. So the scope goes preferentially if I don't move. So you do need to maneuver a bit, and it is actually passable. Another issue sometimes is the diaphragm, where the diaphragm pinches the stomach, the pulled up stomach, but that is in this case not an issue.
So let's pull out some key messages from this case, and then we'll go looking for them. For you, what were the key messages that came out of this?
Especially the indication, the workup, the previous things that were done, why something did not work, why the dilatations did not work, why the patient has only symptoms when eating certain amounts of foods, not realizing that, okay, the anastomosis is not so tight, but the problem is a combined issue probably due to the like the entire pre-stenting workup of the patient.
Clear message one, don't go in with a stent if you haven't, one, tried everything else, two, realize that this might be a solution for this patient, because it's a bit weird if the thing stays in position. I mean, migration is going to be the key problem here, for sure it is. And I would suggest to this patient, myself, if this works and this stent slips, to put in a partially covered stent, which has covering in the middle, but fixes itself up and below. These are advantageous over uncovered stents for two reasons. One, because the ingrowth is only proximal and distal, is not the whole thing. With the whole thing, ingrowth never coming out. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, but if the patient ever wants to consider revision surgery, we will not be able to do it. With a proximal release, you can get it to release by lots of different methods, APC, whatever. You can put a stent in stent to necrose the tissue that has grown in, etc. So there are ways of getting partially covered stents out. So I would suggest for this patient, if this works, he has a partially covered stent, which we replace every 6 months.